The only score that matters is the one you give yourself. Philips beard trimmer with power adapt sensor adapts to you. Philips.
It's time to look ahead to the second T20I. Now, they're running out of T20Is to find answers to their questions. India, so what can they do as the teams head to Nagpur with Australia with a 1-0 lead? Let's ask both Waseem Jaffer and Brad Hodge on Philips Trimmer Presents ESPNcricinfo T20 Timeout. Waseem, I think first question is, this is not just about the bilateral series, it's about India finding answers to those questions they still have. So you've already mentioned that perhaps Yuzvendra Chahal's run may have come to an end in our analysis, in our review of the first game. If Ashwin is the option, and looking at the other bowlers as well, Waseem, maybe Bumrah is likely to play, but any other changes you'd suggest to India's bowling lineup?
I think probably Ashwin, but again, Ashwin, as good as he is, he's somebody who's like somebody who contains more than the wicket taker. So playing Ashwin won't be a bad idea, just to throw a variety in. But looking at the World Cup, looking at the larger picture, I think somebody has probably Bishnoi or maybe even Kuldeep Yadav, because I think India misses somebody who picks wickets in the middle overs. So that's what I think India needs. Ashwin, I don't think he is the answer. Akshar Patel again, he does more of a containing job. He's had a good day. But I think India need a genuine wicket taker in the middle, and that could be Bishnoi or even Kuldeep Yadav.
All right. As far as Australia's 11 goes, of course, seems like both teams are looking at bigger things than just this bilateral series. Hodge, would you look to make changes for this one?
No, I don't think so. I think we're pretty stable, I think, with the direction that we're going. Maybe they might manage a few players and Kane Richardson might come in for a game, but I don't think they'll change up too much at all. I don't believe they'll bring in Ashton Agar at all in this series. Maybe an opportunity if they go 2-0 up, but at the moment, I think it looks a stable unit of what they're trying to set up, for the World Cup. So, Stark will come in, and then that looks pretty settled. So it looks a good sign.
Do you sense, even though Australia won that game, courtesy their batters, Hodge, that there are still some question marks about Pat Cummins, the death bowler in T20, Australia, how they went about their bowling? Would you look to sort of tweak those, or try and sort of fill those plugs in this series? And how would you go about that? Are you concerned at all about Pat Cummins or any of the other Aussie bowlers?
Probably his economy rate, yeah. It's a fraction high for the standard of bowler that he is, and we have seen him during the IPL sometimes travel a distance, and that can happen in T20 cricket 20 bowler, but it's something that I don't think they'll be concerned about when they know that they've got Mitchell Stark up their sleeve. He's a known death bowler, and he just comes in and fills that void. So, look, it might be a race to see who fits into the lineup, because Nathan Ellis is a fantastic death bowler under pressure. So, it might be one spot which is up for grabs later on down the track, but as for the moment, his leadership also is pretty important on the field.
As India also look to manage their squad and their players, so not everyone necessarily will get the game time that we'd like them to get. But Waseem, do you sense after that game, Harshal Patel returning to the side, a number of us think he walks in with Bumrah in India's best 11. Do you sense this is a big couple of games for him? It'll be between Harshal and Arshdeep possibly at the World Cup. Are you having those thoughts just yet?
I'm not too worried about Harshal Patel yet, because it's his first game. So I'm hoping that he'll find his groove. The more game time that he has, I think he'll be ready. We know he's got a lot of variety, and that's what you need in T20 cricket. So I'm not really worried about Harshal, but I'm a little bit worried about Bhuvi, because he's had, few back-to-back bad games, especially in the death. So I'll be worried. Bumrah again, he hasn't played a lot of games, so how much cricket he plays going into the World Cup, that is going to be critical. Ashdeep, he's more of somebody who bowls probably 1 over in the power play. He bowls 1 in the middle and then 2 in the death. So it depends what the Indian think tank is thinking. Bumrah definitely plays, but I think Harshal, and you need somebody to bowl with the new ball. So maybe Deepak Chahar is that option they can try at this point of time.
Yeah, how do you know enough of these Indian bowlers? It looks like that's suddenly a concern as well now. We were also focused on the batting that we didn't quite go into the bowling chat in detail. But from what India showed in that first T20, would you be too concerned, or would you think Bumrah coming back will solve things, or can they look at other personnel?
Oh, look, Boomer will solve things certainly with some firepower and some accuracy and some death bowling. But I think, look, Waseem's spot on there. There didn't seem to be a lot of venom in that attack, actually. So it's a little bit of an area of concern. Definitely Bhuvaneshwar looks to have lost that little bit of zip. Maybe it's just a once off and he might bounce back next game. But, you know, particularly when you go to Australia, you have to have your death bowling sorted out. And that's one area which both sides, you know, need to consider, and particularly India, because, you know, the Aussies, they're one side and a number of sides can hit the ball long, long ways if you miss your targets. So, and someone who's creative as Matty Wade down the list, you've got to be switched on and nail your Yorkers and your slow balls, and more to the point, bowl to your field as well, which is critical.
The only score that matters is the one you give yourself. Philips beard trimmer with power adapt sensor adapts to you. Philips.